What's going on, everybody? Welcome to After Prison Show, and I'm looking like I'm getting ready to go to a job interview. Shout out to Joe flexing like some Flex Seal with the plaid designed button-up shirt. You guys know I like these a lot. I wanted to get dressed up for this video for a very important reason, looking like I'm going to a job interview, because today I want to talk to you guys about the 5 toughest jobs after prison. Not necessarily the toughest jobs to get, even though in some regards some of these jobs could be tough to get. But these are what I consider 5 of the toughest jobs to actually be working after prison. You know, make no mistake of it, coming home from prison and trying to find a job is not an easy thing to do, let alone trying to find a good job. That can be even tougher. And you know, real quick, before we even get into this video, a very special shout out to everybody out there who works hard for a living, especially if you're out there working a job that you don't consider to be all that great of a job, or that's definitely not paying you that great at all. Again, a very special shout out to you in particular. You know, we've talked quite a bit about jobs after prison here on After Prison Show, but this week in particular, I really want to focus on this topic because I want to be able to try to share with you guys some very insightful information, not only about certain jobs after prison, but also about starting a business after prison, which is what a lot of guys who come home from prison inspire, or aspire. I'm not exactly sure which word. Hope to be able to do. And a big reason for that is because when you think about coming home from prison or trying to find a good job if you've got a criminal record, that's not exactly going to be the easiest thing to do. And also with the fact that After Prison Show has started a couple of different business ventures. You know, I really want to try to give people who may not know as much information as I have about what it takes to actually start a business and then to hopefully see that business become successful. But that's all some upcoming content, and today I want to focus on 5 of the toughest jobs to be out there working after prison. You know, I've worked many a job in my time, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not very skilled at much of anything at all. I'm probably not even really all that skilled at making these videos, but I try. But with the fact that I've worked quite a few different jobs, and I'm also not very skilled at much, you got to imagine that any job I've ever had, I've gone into those jobs pretty much at entry level, like a laborer or just bottom of the totem pole in regards to the employment scale. And all of these jobs that I'm getting ready to share with you on this list are in fact jobs that I myself have worked. So I'll also be including a little of why I consider these jobs some of the toughest jobs to be coming home working after prison. And if there's a job in particular that you're working right now, or a job that you know is a tough job to be working and it doesn't make this list, don't hate me for it. I only went with 5 in this video. Comment down below and let me know exactly what you think is a tough job to be working coming home from prison. So, it's with all of that being mentioned that what do you say we go ahead and we do? Fuck. Why am I digging ditches for a living? Y'all ain't even paying me but $7.25 an hour though. Got to find a better job. Really tried to do something different there. Head first into this video. Let's go ahead and start with number 5, making this list on the toughest jobs to be working after prison. And what this job is folks, fast food. You know, whether you've been to prison or not, whether you got a criminal record or not, fast food is definitely not the most glamorous of jobs. Unless you make manager at Wendy's, which probably pays, I don't know, maybe like $9 an hour. Fast food, no matter how you flip it, like a burger, flipping burgers at Burger King, spitting all up in your onion rings, it ain't no sort of a good nor glamorous job, and it's also a very tough job to be working, especially if you're coming home from prison. Who the hell trying to work at Hardee's or Burger King coming home from prison? No, they ain't paying you no money. No, you're gonna be back there working in some hot-ass kitchen, not making any money, probably taking orders from some 17-year-old manager telling you how to live your life. You got them burgers ready back there. I got me a Fortnite tournament to get back to. I ain't got all day to be waiting on you. You got that ready yet? Boy, I swear to God, if you wasn't a minor, I would catch you outside. I swear, I would catch you outside. 17 years old trying to tell me what I'm supposed to be doing. And forgive me for getting a little bit carried away with that right there, but I've definitely got experience with that. When I came home from serving the 7 years in prison that I served, I ended up working at Little Caesars. I was making $7.25 an hour. Just got done doing 7 years in prison. My manager was 17 years old. $7.25 an hour, 17-year-old manager, 7 years in prison. You know, they say 7's a lucky number, and like a slot machine, I hit 3 7s. I was out of there. I quit that job within a week. Plus, they was only working me 2 days a week for 4-hour shifts. I was getting 8 hours a week. I was making like, what's 7 times 8? $50 a week? I put fast food on this list at number 5 for all of these before mentioned reasons that we've just talked about right there. There ain't really no kind of room to be climbing any type of corporate ladder with this type of a job. You're definitely not going to be making enough money to even be able to support yourself. You're probably and most definitely going to have to be working 2 jobs to be able to even barely attempt to support yourself working in fast food. And you know, I'll even go as far as to say that this could potentially be a reason for you to like lose your steam, lose your drive to continue on the right path after prison. You could get tired of going to this job. Man, these people ain't paying me nothing as it is. You know, I could go get the pack. I could be flipping that instead of these burgers. And you know, I definitely don't want to downplay anybody who is working in fast food. You know, shout out to those people because they definitely work hard. And they work hard for not that much money at all. You know, if fast food is all you can find when you come home from prison, then guess what? You need to work that job. And while working that job, also be striving to find something better. But fast food is definitely a tough line of work to be getting into at any point in your life, especially after prison. Coming in at number 4 on this list is shipyard work. You know, here in this local area where I'm at, we've got shipyards. I know shipyards aren't going to be everywhere, but while mentioning shipyards, I want to also throw in like industrial construction because that's also something that guys can get in, whether we're talking about factories or some kind of plants. Shipyards and industrial construction are going to have all sorts of different jobs that a guy could potentially get into after prison. And quite a few of those types of jobs are going to be some very tough and grueling kinds of work. Now, the good thing about shipyards and industrial types of work is the fact that there's a good potential. There is some room for advancement in this type of employment, and there's also the good potential that you could start out at least, you know, I would hope at least 10 to 12, maybe even more dollars per hour, depending what kind of a job you're getting and how much experience you have in this. And that could definitely lead to a lot more money per hour, $15, $20+ an hour. But what makes this particular type of work the toughest type of work to be doing after prison is, for one, it could be tough just trying to land this type of work. Because even though in a lot of cases they will be willing to hire you with a criminal record, the type of criminal record that you have is definitely going to come into play. A lot of times it could be you need to know somebody in an effort to be able to get into this type of work. I mean, here where After Prison Show is located at, it's pretty much as simple as going to the temp service, and you go through a bunch of stuff with the temp service, and so long as, you know, your record isn't, you know, too terribly bad, and there are certain charges that could make your record pretty bad, like gun charges, weapon charges. I'll use those as an example. Sometimes those could be a disqualification for whether or not you're going to be able to work on any type of a base or a shipyard or in any type of an industrial type of setting. Then go ahead and throw in the fact that you're going to be working in all sorts of the elements. We're talking about the heat, we're talking about the cold, we're talking about around asbestos, lead paint potentially. The danger level to working in any type of a shipyard or an industrial type of setting is definitely pretty high. But if you're able to land this type of employment and also able to weather, you know, the dangerous conditions that you could oftentimes find yourself working in, and also the long hours that you could find yourself working, and also the strenuous, back-breaking type of work that you could potentially be doing, shipyard/industrial work, even though they may be some of the toughest jobs that you could do, they're actually pretty damn good jobs to get after prison. Coming in at number 3, I wanted to throw this particular line of work in there. Some people may disagree. There may be some forms of this type of work that aren't so tough and grueling, but warehouse work. Now, I want to say this first and foremost. I know that there are some good warehouse jobs out there, and I'm not going to sit here and say that warehouse work isn't good work to find, but this is and also can be some of the toughest work that you can ever do, especially when it comes to loading and unloading trucks. You know, in warehouses, a lot of times it is gonna be hot as balls in there, especially in the summertime. You ever walked into the back of an 18-wheeler trailer in the dead of summertime? It's like walking through the gates of hell. That's how hot it is inside of that trailer. And also, not every warehouse job is going to pay you all that well. I would like to imagine that most warehouse jobs are going to pay you really good, but I want to share with you one particular experience I had when I did some warehouse work where they didn't even pay you per hour, they paid you per trailer that you unloaded and loaded. And I think it was like a Walmart distribution warehouse. And though it may sound good to be able to get paid by the trailer, by the job that you complete, whether unloading or loading, you know, some of these trailers, they were only paying you $25. $25 to unload that trailer. And you know, that could take you up to 3 hours to get that job done. You don't know what size boxes they are, whether they're big boxes, heavy boxes, itty bitty little boxes where they got like 15 or 20,000 boxes on one particular trailer. I think the least that they paid at this job was $25 per trailer, and I think the most that they paid was like 60, maybe 50. I can't remember. The good thing about this job was once you figured out how to do this, you know, you could knock out 2 or 3 trailers a day, so you could make anywhere between like, I think you could make anywhere between like $75 and $150 a day, and that was good money. You're gonna work. You're gonna work like you've never worked before in your life to get that job done. Then also, you know, sometimes you had to work with another guy. And if that guy ain't really up to speed and he ain't really all that good, he's gonna hold you up. He's gonna be holding up that money. And you know, there were times where I would go to this job and I would only do like 1 trailer, maybe one $50 trailer. And I could be done by like 9 o'clock. I think we started at 7. I could be done by 9, maybe 10. But again, it was back-breaking. And when it was hot outside, it was hot as hell inside that warehouse and 20 times hotter inside that trailer. And when it was cold outside, you better stay working to stay warm. So again, I don't want to say that this was the worst type of work. And even on the pay scale, I mean, it wasn't really all that bad. It was all how you worked the job. You know, there was definitely some favoritism involved in it too. You had to kind of get in where you fit in. Also try to get in with the management and the people who were running that show. Bob, boy, wow. Bob, have you been eating Burger King lately? It shows, Bob. Wow. You're getting thick, Bob. Hey, look, is there any way I could get me like 3 of them $50 trailers today? Bob. Sometimes you got to sell your soul to the devil in an effort just to be able to get good work when you come home from prison. Making the list at number 2, and we're almost through this, folks, and it's about to be a doozy right here with these last 2. But making the list at number 2 of the toughest type of work that you can find coming home from prison, my personal opinion, some people may not agree with this, roofing work. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, I am traumatized for life from doing roofing work. Roofing work is absolutely dangerous. And if you've got no experience in this and you're going to be a ground person or a laborer, if you're going to be toting shingles up a ladder, them shingles are heavy. They're like 50 to 80 pounds per pack. You're climbing up a ladder, getting on a 12-12 pitch roof that looks like the steeple of a church, trying to walk up and put them damn shingles up on the top of that roof. For $8 or $9 an hour, you'll be lucky if you get 10 or 11. I have never been a fan of roofing work. It's one of the jobs that I consider the worst, the hardest jobs to ever do. If you're experienced in roofing work, you can make a killing. $150 to $200+ a day doing that type of work, but I was never experienced in it. And I didn't last all that long doing this type of work. Now, I want to share this with you guys, and I don't want you to laugh because this is not funny. I was young when this happened to me. Traumatized me for life. I was 18 years old, just started getting into trouble. Already had a criminal record. I was probably out on bail, not standing any type of chance in the world of doing the right thing. But for whatever the case, for whatever the reason, I was working this job. And I know for a fact I was only making like $9 an hour at the very most. I know I was only making like $9. And I was working for a big roofing company, and I worked this job for at least a couple of weeks. Now, at 18 years old, when I'm treating jail like a revolving door in and out of that place, a couple of weeks in dog years or in old Joe years is like a couple of years. I worked that job for a long time. And at the time, I won't even say that I didn't like the job. I probably did like the job. I was young Joe back then. Carrying them bundles of shingles up them ladders, that was nothing to me. But what was something to me was the way that every day would start on the job site. And it never failed, never failed. And, you know, I was young and I was easily, you know, peer pressured. I ain't even gonna say that. I was getting down with the get down. But every day before the job would even start, you know, the guys who did the roofing work, they were older and cooler than me, and they had a tool belt, and all I had was a pair of gloves. But they would always get up on the roof and sit there and partake in the devil's lettuce. These guys were some sure enough badasses. There's no way in hell. Like, the devil's lettuce and me, it's like vodka and milk. It just does not go together well at all. But wanting to be cool and wanting to fit in with these roofers. You know, I would climb up the ladder. Hey, what's going on? I smell it. Where's the lettuce at? You know, I wanted to be cool with these guys and I wanted to fit in, so I would climb up that ladder every morning, I would get down, and I would come down looking like Donatello from the Ninja Turtles. I don't know which one it is that wears the red bandana around his eyes, but that's what I looked like. My eyes were so bloodshot red every morning. 7:30, it never failed. My eyes were so bloodshot red, it looked like I had a red bandana tied around my face every day. Looking so dumb in the face. Where am I? And then trying to work hard all day like that. Go! How you do it? And I know there's going to be people who say, Joe, I do this every day. You ain't TTG for real. You are not trained to go. I'm not. But I would do this. I would do this quite often every day for those couple of years that I worked this roofing job until this one particular day. And again, I'm asking you guys, don't laugh, because this is not funny. This could have ended very tragically for me, and I'm blessed to say that it didn't. This one day, I got up on the roof. I did my thing with the roofer guys. You know, we partied with the devil's lettuce. I came down. My job was to load shingles up on that roof and to pick up trash and debris on the ground. And not only did I have me a pair of gloves, I also had me a wheelbarrow as my tools for this gig. So I wheel my little wheelbarrow around, throw me some shingles in there, take them to the dumpster, throw them in the dumpster. I'm doing my job. And this one day, as I'm wheeling my wheelbarrow that's loaded with shingle debris, I hear the roofers yell down for me to get them a shingle stretcher. Joe, hey, go get the shingle stretcher out of the truck. Now, you know, they had asked me to get this shingle stretcher every single day, and for the life of me, I just could never find it. But this day they would ask me that, so I put my wheelbarrow down. They said, Joe. I said, yo, what's up? Put the wheelbarrow down, and no sooner than I said, yup, I was gone. Gone. Folks, I was so impaired, I did not realize that where I set the wheelbarrow down was on a 12-12 pitch hill. I put the wheelbarrow down right on the slope of the hill. So one leg sat on the top of the hill while the other leg, you know, it tried to catch. And when it tried to catch, it was already too late. That wheelbarrow just started tumbling. And folks, I was caught between the handles of this wheelbarrow. So when that wheelbarrow hit my side, that handle hit my side, it flipped me. And I flipped all the way down this hill, highly impaired from the devil's lettuce. Wheelbarrow chasing me the entire way down the hill. And these guys were just laughing at me. Could have been killed. Thank God I wasn't. So when I tell you that roofing is some of the toughest work to do after prison, unless you're experienced in this, I don't recommend it. But if that's the only job you can find, I mean, definitely do it. If you can learn that trade, you can make a lot of money doing that trade. I just feel bad for anybody who's out there doing roofing work right now, knowing how hot it's been. There ain't nothing like touching a hot roof, feeling like your hand's about to catch on fire. That's some tough work to be doing. Let's go ahead and move on to the final job, toughest job to do after prison. And, you know, this is kind of the reason why I wanted to do this video. It's kind of ironic, actually, because if I think about the toughest jobs to do after prison, definitely roofing is one of them, and all the other ones that I've mentioned in this video, plus probably so many more. But the number one toughest job has to be moving. Working for a moving company, which is pretty damn ironic considering the fact that that's what we've just started here on After Prison Show. Our latest business venture, get gone, moving and hauling. What you need to get gone? Folks, moving work can be some of the most back-breaking, grueling labor that there is. Unless you're a driver for a moving company, you're probably not going to be making all that much money at all. Moving companies are notorious for not really paying dudes all that much. And if you know otherwise of a moving company that actually pays people well, let me know. Because I'm going to be honest with you, the only moving company that I know of that's going to pay people well is Get Gone Moving and Hauling. We're going to try to do dudes some justice. And we're going to also attempt in some kind of a way to do this work the smart way. Work smarter, not harder. Folks, moving work absolutely sucks. You know, we just started this business, and just this past Friday, we went and did our first job. Charged $75 to move a dresser and a bookshelf that we didn't even see prior to walking in here. And the bookshelf was as big as this wall behind me right here. And the dresser was like a 10-foot safe. Folks, this was super dangerous, super sketchy, and super painful. You know, when we were moving this furniture, I literally felt like we were building the pyramids in Egypt. That's how heavy this stuff was. Why moving work is some of the toughest work, some of the hardest work, some of the worst work as well. I'll also include that. One, Oftentimes, it's hard to make good money as a mover, or at least money that you feel you should be making. Now, I'm not saying you can't make $10, $12, $13 an hour. That's good money, but you're going to work harder than you've ever worked in your life to get it on most occasions. You know, people use moving companies for a lot of different reasons, mostly when they're moving, or also when there's something super duper dumb heavy that they're trying to get moved and they don't want to do it. And then when you get there and you see that stuff, you ask yourself, like, why was this put upstairs? Moving work can be some of the toughest work because you have to deal with customers. You know, you can make tips, so that's a good thing that comes from a moving company. I don't want to say moving work is, work that you should try to all out avoid, because, you can make somewhat decent money. You can also get tips, but you can also deal with customers who have unrealistic demands. Before I went to prison, I worked for a moving company. I don't want to put them out there. Their name was Two Men in a Truck. I hated this gig. And I don't want to put too much of the blame on them per se, because I'm sure there was a very good reason why they could only pay me $9 an hour, so I get that. But I just had a very bad experience with this gig, because every time that we would go on a job, it would be like the most unbelievable stuff in the world, moving grand pianos up spiraling sets of stairs. Who puts a grand piano up a spiral staircase anyways? And then the homeowner asks you to take your shoes off before coming inside. And they've got all hardwood floors, even on the staircase. So you're thinking to yourself, this piano probably weighs at least 2,000 pounds, a single ton, and we're going up a slip and slide. 5 guys attempting to move this, 2 men in a truck. They lied about it on this one. 5 guys attempting to move this grand piano up a spiral wood floor staircase, no shoes on. Everybody's slipping. I thought I would die that day. And I'm not even being funny. That was grueling. I didn't last at that job very long. I probably only worked there for maybe a month before I was going to prison. I decided to get into the street life, get right into the drug gang. Forget moving furniture. I wanted to try to move that fire pow pow. That didn't work out too well for me neither. But getting back on track, moving work, grueling, strenuous. Some of the toughest and hardest work that you will ever do in your life. But like every other job that I've mentioned in this video, including moving work, sometimes that's what you're going to have to do when you come home and you're trying to get your life back on track. All of these jobs that I've mentioned are jobs that I've personally worked, so I know firsthand what these jobs are like. And you got to do what you got to do to make it out here. A lot of times you're not going to be able to find that glamorous good job right off the bat, and a lot of times you might have to find yourself in a job just like one that we've mentioned here in this video, or like so many others that we did. But it's not always about where you start, it's about where you end up. And sometimes you got to start in a tough, grueling, and even cruel job to get where you really want to be at. Like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I know there's many other jobs that didn't make the cut for this video. If you've got any suggestions or other jobs that you definitely consider some of the toughest type of work to do, please comment down below and let us know exactly what those are. I'd definitely love to hear what you guys have to say. Hey, look, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did so, please leave a like and a comment, letting me know exactly what you thought about this. And as always, until next time, enjoy life, the free world. Never take a moment for granted, and make the most of every day. Peace!